Like one of them old
No.
ones you see on them haunted places, the
No,
haunted shows?
Scotty,
No,
Scotty,
that's-
go steal a car, and we'll get that done. We'll
Get
put you in
arrested
prison.
and spend the night over there.
Michael Malone Show is brought to you by the Central City Casino Parkway. Take I-70 to exit 243. The Central City Parkway, your 4 lanes to fun. Coach, can we start with something fun here before we talk about other stuff? Can I start with something fun for you today?
Yeah, I'd love to do something fun. I could use the 4 lanes to fun right now.
Okay, all right, let's start with something fun. I'm sure you've been to Philadelphia a million times. Have you ever run the Rocky Stairs, which I think is pretty close to where you guys are staying to? Have you ever done the Rocky Stairs?
Of course. I've been coming here for 20-something years now in the NBA, and back when I was younger and my knees could function, I would always try to make a point to get out and run, and how could you not run the stairs when they're right down the street from your hotel?
That is what I'm saying, and we got Hastings over here, and he's, I don't know, making up excuses about Liz Frank, and he's been there 500 times, and he's making excuses about guarding Moses Malone. I mean, how do you not run the stairs?
Well, and let's be honest, he never really guarded Moses Malone. He might have matched up to him. But he didn't really guard him.
Wow. You want to take that one, Scott?
Hey, I don't want to say anything. My first dunk in the NBA was over Moses Malone. Come on now.
Here's a funny story about Moses Malone. So I'm Catholic. I'm getting ready for my confirmation. And I tell my mother, I say, listen, Ma, I want to take Moses as my confirmation name. And, Moses is he's a pretty big guy in the Bible. So I'm thinking she's going to buy it.
Right.
And I wanted it because of Moses Malone. Faux.
That's great.
And
That's awesome.
my mother, she put her foot down, and I wound up taking her father's name, George. So no Moses for me, but I was always a big Moses fan.
That is awesome. You asked for Moses. That's your confirmation.
That's great,
name.
actually.
That's great. All right. How we doing there, Coach? Where's our head at? Like, what's going on? What do you think at this point?
Well, obviously, what I think, simply stated, is losing sucks.
Yeah.
It's never a good feeling, and to lose 3 games in a row is really disappointing for a team. When you start this trip, we had just gone 12-3 in our last 15 games, and I think it's a reminder that an NBA season, 82 games, is a long season. Lots of ups and downs, lots of twists and turns. And after playing so well, Minnesota, Chicago, and last night New York, we have not done enough to secure a win. And we have 2 more chances, starting in Philly tomorrow, ending in Charlotte, to try to finish this road trip with some positivity by getting wins. And how do you do that? And obviously right now, in the last 3 games, our defense has disappeared. We're 30th in defense in the last 3 games. A big part of that is our offense. We're turning the ball over. We're 30th in turnovers and points given off of our turnovers. So the offense and defense always go hand in hand, and we have to get back to taking care of the ball, getting back in transition, and just being a lot more disciplined in everything we're trying to do.
Yeah, and you didn't really have as much. I think the turnovers in that Chicago game for points, but it still was. I still think it was pretty high. Last night you were minus 20 in that category, 23-20. And I know we've talked before, and you've talked about it before too. It's great. Let's get defense. Let's get defense. But if you're giving 37 points up off of your turnovers to Minnesota, you're giving up a minus 20 in a game against last night in New York. Man, you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball to where now everything else has to be almost perfect, and you still might not win the game.
Yeah, it's really a concern right now because, to your point, in the last 3 games, our opponents are averaging 26 points a game of our mistakes. And the interesting thing is last night, I think we had 14 turnovers, which is not a bad number, obviously, but we gave up 23 points off of those, and a lot of them were live ball turnovers that fueled their break, and they got easy points. And when you're only generating 3 points off of theirs, that 20-point differential is huge. It was the same thing in Minnesota. Minnesota scored 37 points off our 20 turnovers. So we all know this. Good teams do not beat themselves, especially on the road. So that's priority number one is take care of the ball, which flows into our transition defense. And then when we get into a transition defense, our three-point defense as of late has just been, non-existent, and we have to do a better job. Coaches, players, of finding ways to eliminate teams shooting and making 17 threes a game per game in the last three. And those are the two biggest concerns I have would be the turnovers and then our three-point defense. And I know we can do it because for 15 games prior to this road trip, we were the number 6 defense in the NBA and playing at a high level on both ends of the floor.
Did you like the way
Coach,
you're – oh, sorry, Scotty. Go ahead. Go ahead. Well, let me ask
Okay,
Coach.
well, Coach.
Somebody asked me a damn question.
Do it, Scotty.
We talked about yesterday, and it, we're on radio, and it's obviously not as visual. We talked about lack of practice time, and how it's one thing to walk through a ballroom, but you're literally walking through as opposed to being on the floor and being able to show stuff. But I talked about in defensive rotations. I want to see what your take on this. A good defense, especially weak side. If I'm a weak side guy, and they're running a high pick and roll, and teams run a lot of high pick and rolls against you guys, I'm anticipating that before that guy even starts rolling. If I'm that first weak side guy, I'm anticipating that guy rolling before he rolls so I can meet him higher as opposed to at the rim. And congruently, the guy that now is going to get, help the helper, that guy's already got to be anticipating and moving down also. How hard is that to stress? How hard is that to get into action, if you will, if really because of the schedule and everything else you're doing it, you're just talking about it and walking through in the ballroom? Well,
first off, you used the word congruently, so I want to say congratulations on that. That's a big word.
Thank you.
And I could sit here and say, yeah, we don't have practice time. We haven't had a chance to get into a gym and get maybe the reps. There is some game slippage, but to be honest, that would be an excuse because I think every NBA team is going through the same thing right now. And when I try to wrap my head around, I don't know if I've ever seen a team who's played so well over 15 games and then just snap your fingers and all of a sudden playing so poorly. And again, that starts with me. One thing I always try to do is it's never our player, it's we. When we go 12-3 in the last 15, it's we, it's us. When you go 0-3, it's still we and us. And I have to do a better job as a head coach of coaching, of teaching, of holding guys accountable, cleaning things up. And our players have to take ownership of that and try to be better. But I do agree with your thought process there. Good defenses are 5 guys working as one. They're on a string. They're reading and reacting off of each other. And we're just not working as one right now. We have a couple of guys working and another couple of guys maybe not. And we're off. We're off rhythm right now. And obviously that's our challenge going into Philadelphia tomorrow night, a team that's won 4 in a row, playing at a much higher level than the team we saw in Denver just a few games ago. So hopefully tomorrow night's an opportunity for us to get back to playing the level and brand of basketball I know this team is capable of.
Did you like the way the new look starting 5 came out last night, or is that too hard to tell when Jokers gets in the foul trouble he did against New York?
Yeah, I mean, it was really hard to tell, especially in the first half. I think at the 10:40 mark of the first quarter, Nikola picked up a second foul and had to go to the bench. Michael Porter picked up his second foul. Shortly thereafter, he had to go to the bench. I was really proud of the group that was out there. Nikola goes out at the 10:40 mark, second foul. We get down by 12. It looks like it's going to get ugly quickly in the Garden. And our guys that were out there, they competed, they fought, and we were in the game. I mean, we're up 8 with 7 to go in the third quarter. I think with 4 minutes to go in the game last night, 4:40, we're down by 4 points. So we competed, we played hard, but the turnovers, the transition, and then Jalen Brunson in that third quarter were all problematic.
All right, what's the thought process going forward, one way or the other, with AG in the starting lineup? Not. I mean, Christian's playing great. It can't be an easy decision, that's for sure. I'm just curious what your mindset is when you're thinking about it and how you're going to move forward with it.
Yeah, definitely. Never an easy decision. And, on one hand, you have Aaron Gordon, who has been a starting power forward since day one, helped us win a championship as our starting power forward, and who has been patient in his return to play and, finally had a minute restriction that was lifted, and now you could start him. And so if I'm going to put Aaron Gordon back in the lineup, that means somebody's got to come out from a group that's played really well.
Right.
And it came down to Christian Brown or Russell Westbrook. And both guys have great cases to stay in the lineup.
Right.
And the reason I decided to take Christian out was going into the game last night, the best two-man combo in the NBA has been Russell Westbrook and Nikola Jokic. And so I like having Russ out there while Nikola's out there. I think they play off of each other really well. And I also know that CB, as a young kid, he's willing to do whatever it takes for the team to win. As I told him yesterday when I met with him, whether you start or come off the bench, CB, we need you to be who you are, to bring your aggression, your toughness, and that mindset. And last night, coming off the bench, he still plays 29 minutes. Mm-hmm. He goes out there, gets us 13 points, 5 rebounds, gets to the foul line 4 times, and did a lot of really good things for us. So you could almost call Christian Brown our 6th starter. He's that important to this team, and I give him a lot of credit because I knew he wouldn't be excited about that decision I'm making, but he fully embraced it and is ready to do whatever is going to help this team win, and that's what I love about the kid.
All right, Scotty, one more before we go. You got something for Coach?
The last thing for me, this because I'm gonna flash back to the Poconos. What were them?
Okay.
5-star camps. I don't know if you ever got to work to the 5-star camps or go to the 5-star camps or all that stuff. And it's probably not politically correct now, but good defense, right? Weak side defense. Remember what we were taught? It was point your pistols. Point the fingers at the ball in your man at all times and be able to see both right there. That is a basic principle we're taught when we're just getting into basketball. That being said, is that not the same even at the pro level, that if you can keep that type of discipline, you're always kind of going to be in the right position to at least make a play and help side?
Yeah, well, first off, 5-star. Obviously, my father worked 5-star camp for years and was part of the 5-star family with guys like Hugh B. Brown, and who we worked for with the Knicks many, many years ago. And I went to that camp and played at that camp every year at my high school. And you had the best players in the country, and I have a lot of great memories from 5-star and all the great coaching you received. And a lot of the same things still apply to today. And to your point, last night we probably had 4 instances where we got beat with back cuts. And the reason you're getting beat with a back cut is because you're above your man, you're not seeing ball and man, or you're getting caught ball watching and a guy's cutting behind you. And some of the fundamentals in recent years have gone by the wayside. And I'm not blaming it all on AAU basketball, but when you're taught how to play the fundamentals, feeding the post, that's another lost art that a lot of guys don't know how to do anymore. And so that's our job, my job, to make sure that we're revisiting those things and teaching those things. As these players get younger and younger, you have to continue to teach more and more. And obviously, with the way we're playing right now, we have our hands full. I have to do a better job of helping our guys, and that's from Nikola on down, all of our players, so we can go out there and play better and give ourselves a better chance to win. I don't like losing 3 games in a row, but I accept where we are. And now the challenge is to figure out how the hell to get out of that. And that's all the energy I'm putting in, is staying with my group, staying connected, staying positive, and try to help them as much as I can.
All right, Coach. We'll let you go. I'll give you a chance to chime in because everybody in the brother has done it, because Silver was on with Dan Patrick talking about 10-minute quarters. You got any 2 cents on that one?
He had a great answer on it last night. I'm with Coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was asked about it last night pregame, right after they had, I guess, spoken to Adam Silver.
Yeah.
And my Cliff Notes answer is I'm not a fan of it. I'm the son of a coach. My father was a coach in the NBA for 30 years. I've been in it close to 25. I love the purity of this game, the history of this game.
Okay.
And as I said yesterday, I know the league has concerns about viewership and how do we keep fans engaged. And now you're talking about 10-minute quarters. You're talking about 4-point lines. You're talking about all this stuff. I'm a purist. I hope we don't change the game and we find other ways to keep our fans engaged.
All right, Coach. Listen, have a cheesesteak, run the Rocky Stairs. Just just shake the cobwebs. We'll be all right. It's gonna be all right.
Hey.
We'll get it back on track, no doubt. Right?
So when I woke up this morning, we took the train down, which I love doing. We hopped on the train down to Penn Station, took it down to Philly.
So cool.
And one of the coaches looked at me and said, "Hey, the sun came out today."
Yeah.
And when you lose a game, at least for me, like it's like the world's coming to an end. And when you lose 3 games in a row, it's even that much harder. But then you have to remind yourself of the sun comes up, and tomorrow's a new day, a new opportunity for us to improve and try to get back to our winning ways.
All right, Coach. We appreciate it. Best of luck. Yes,
Coach,
Scotty?
the sun will come up tomorrow.
All right, Scott.
You can bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there will be sun.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
All right, I think appreciate that, Annie. Well,
Yeah,
thank you, Annie.
you're welcome.
Hey, he's not Andy. He looks a lot more like Daddy Warbucks these days than Andy these days. That's for sure.
Oh, he's never looked like Annie. I
Without
know
the
that.
money.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, Coach. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks,
you.
Coach.
Michael Malone Show brought to you by the Central City. Central City. I know
Casino
I got
Parkway.
them.
4
I
lanes
got
of fun.
it.
Central City,
Golly, Central City Casino
4
Parkway.
lanes to fun.
You know, take I-70 to exit 243. You're 4 lanes to fun.
That's right.
All right,
Because
see-
Coach threw that line in to